Now, Collected Works is an award-winning non-profit organisation that exists to promote reading as a shared activity throughout the community. We produce and deliver high-quality literature events and activities working with a range of partners and clients both in the city and further afield. Our largest project is City Reads, and we've been doing City Reads we did it on a very small scale from 2005, but it became a standalone festival in 2011. In essence, to explain City Reads, it's one book, one city, 1,000 conversations. Alongside the Big Read, we programme a wide range of exciting events focused around the themes in the selected book to encourage as many people to join in as possible. Last year, we delivered the very first City Reads for children as part of Brighton Festival in May, and we were delighted to have the former Children's Laureate Michael Rosen at the helm. Michael was the guest artistic director at Brighton Festival last year, and he jumped at the chance to support the project, which we're running again this year. We're delighted actually that Brighton Festival has agreed to support City Read, Young City Reads each year, so this means that we're able to develop the project and target schools and children most in need of support. We began our Read Aloud work in 2009 as a way of including marginalised members of the community in the Big Read and City Reads. And as the years have gone on, we've become very experienced in setting up and maintaining these Read Aloud groups. And this has led to us being employed by third and public sector organisations to train their volunteers to set up Read Aloud groups in Brighton, East and West Sussex and Maidstone. We've run and continue to run Read Aloud groups in a variety of settings, which include several in partnership with Brighton and Hove Libraries, who've been hugely supportive. In addition, we've had particular success working with homeless, ex-homeless individuals, older people and people experiencing mental health, many different forms of mental illness. Now, I wanted to talk very briefly to you today about the meeting of these two areas of our work, City Reads and Read Aloud. We started by wanting to engage members of the community who didn't go to literature events with books and reading. Well, it was as simple as that, or was it really simple? It sounds simple. I think that many people in this room know that arts organisations struggle to engage marginalised members of the community in their activities. If people have become socially excluded or isolated, that often means that they're wary of joining or getting involved for a variety of reasons. Plus, they're not visible. So you have to go out and find them. Then often the best that can be hoped for, maybe, is a parallel outreach activity that, although valuable, never crosses into the mainstream. And then the outreach participants fail to become part of that mainstream audience, and that was what we were interested in. We wanted to build relationships with partner organisations that specialised in working with particular client groups. But I don't think when we started, we could have imagined where it would lead and how it would grow. I obviously hoped it would be a great success, and we would get participants for the groups, and that would be something that we would get out of the experience, and that has happened. But what I didn't really think about was the experience that my colleagues and I would have, and that has been a revelation. We've got some funding to set up 6 new Read Aloud groups across the city, and Andy was keen to help us set up 3 of those in very different drop-in situations within Brighton Housing Trust. He was also very generous in helping us secure some really high-profile advocates of the scheme, including MP Caroline Lucas, who came along and spoke at the launch of the project. So we did set up 3 groups, which were all very successful, but I'd like to focus on one in particular, and that's the group we set up at Support for Housing on London Road in Brighton. The organisation promotes and empowers vulnerable people as well as helping with housing issues, and they support their clients to develop life skills and improve health and well-being. So it was a very good fit for a Read Aloud group. I know that all organisations run their Read Aloud groups differently, and as we've developed, we've built our own model, and it's one that seems to work very well for us. The Collected Works model is that each Read Aloud group is run by 2 trained volunteers, and that not all the volunteers who undergo our training end up running a group. So there is an element of selection, and the reason for this is because we try to give our groups the best chance of success and longevity. The other important thing to mention is that the training is free for volunteers. This is to make sure that it's accessible to everyone and potential volunteers are not excluded for financial reasons. Here's what Lindsay, one of the men in the Support for Housing group, had to say. The whole experience was most agreeable, and it started me reading other novels at home. I even used my library card for the first time this year. The group itself was one of the most pleasant experiences. I looked forward to the group every week, seeing the members and chatting with them. If you want a friendly, informative group, this is for you. Most of all, I rediscovered the art of reading, which was lying dormant in me, and I'm just looking forward to meeting new members and, of course, a new book. I'll end with a word from one of those volunteers about her experience in running a Read Aloud group last year. Participating in this project has helped put my life into perspective and made me aware of how much good stuff there is going on around me. It's too easy to become overwhelmed by all the negativity which is constantly highlighted in the media and forget that we can each contribute on a personal level. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to talk to some of you.